and welcome to Down to Watch, the podcast that asks, are you down to watch? I'm Kahmeela.
I'm Dan.
And we are here with another edition of Movie Pass Minutes. Still trying to get that sponsorship. So what we've done is we used our Movie Pass to go see this movie, and this episode is more than likely going to be shorter than our usual episodes because it's fresh in our minds because we just got out of the theater. So, yeah. And, if you haven't done so already, could you please like us on Twitter at DTW Podcast or like us on Facebook at Down to Watch Podcast. And let us know what your experiences are with Movie Pass. So our movie today is...
A Quiet Place.
Still in theaters, 2017. It was directed by John Krasinski.
He also got a writing credit. There's 5 people who wrote this.
Original screenplay was written by Brian Woods and Scott Beck, and they submitted it to John to direct.
Plot summary, if you don't mind.
Sure.
A family is forced to live in silence while hiding from creatures that hunt by sound. There you go.
All right.
So it says on
well
the
done.
DVD.
Well done.
Yeah.
Our history with the movie is, pretty much there's nothing that really ties us to this other than we saw trailers. We thought it would be interesting.
Yeah. And Stephen King tweeted about it and said that was badass, basically. He's like a good use of quiet.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I definitely want to go see this. If Stephen King is like, hey, good job.
Right.
It's definitely worth seeing.
Sure.
And it was definitely worth seeing because it was a unique terror element. Although I have to say, walking away from this movie, mostly what I want to do is criticize their parenting skills.
Exactly. Yes, okay. So I'm having a difficult time separating the movie as an art and from the characters and their lifestyle and the development of the characters and their story and how they...
And why do I care about any of them? I was rooting for the monsters. I was like, yeah, take that pain in the ass out. These kids are not that bright. I mean, it's horrible. I know it's just horrible.
So we've got... this movie also stars John Krasinski and his real-life wife, Emily Blunt. And we have Millicent Simmons, who plays their daughter, and Noah Jupe, who plays their son, and also Cade Woodward, who also plays their son.
For a brief moment.
There's going to be spoilers because there's no way around it because I've got so many questions, and I feel,
I mean, when you think about it, in terms of, it was a small cast, really only 4 actors. There's a couple others, and then a relatively low graphics budget, I'm thinking, because the monsters were scary and gross, but at the same time, it's like you only need the one,
right?
And you can make it seem like 1,000,
right? True. And they almost got away with just not showing the monster in its entirety.
Right.
Too, just showing bits and pieces of it.
Exactly.
Which I kind of feel like it would have been scarier for me had I not seen it fully.
Yeah, I see that, but they had to kind of show you its architecture. Yeah. So that the major plot point could be made, I guess.
So the whole thing is that apparently the world has been attacked by these aliens. I can only assume.
I hope.
And
there's no explanation of where these things came from. Right. Or why they hunt humans. Right.
We start off at day 82 of whatever this is.
Yeah.
And then then an incident happens where they're hard-headed kids do something they're not supposed to.
Make a big noise.
Get snatched up and one of them gets snatched up and eaten. So, yeah, with that alone. So just the fact that they're walking along.
We assume they get eaten.
Yeah. They take so much care. This family has taken care. They're marking the quiet paths with white sand. They've marked
they're walking barefoot.
Yeah, they're walking barefoot, which, come on, I feel like that's a little bit over the top. Tennis shoes probably could have.
They've got paint on where the creaky parts of the floors are, but yet this little kid is like, I'll put some batteries in this toy and make some really loud rocket noises.
Right. And this is at day 82. Day 82 of what was going on, of what the situation was. And then it wasn't even just him. His older sister was also complicit in this.
Yes.
She gave him the toy, even after the parents said, no, it's too loud.
And then then nobody watched him.
Nobody made sure he followed up on not doing that. So he kind of got that's how you learn your lessons, I guess.
In this world.
So then we fast forward to day 472 or something like that.
And they're like, let's have another baby.
She's good and pregnant.
This labor will probably be quiet.
Yeah, and this baby, we can totally like keep him quiet for the next 2 years, because that's all babies do for 2 years at least, is cry and whine.
Not this one. This one will meditate and be quiet. Because plot hole.
And then not to mention that they're going to have to explain everything. Ugh, just another hard-headed kid.
So this wasn't exactly John Krasinski's directorial debut, although this is probably the one most people will know him for.
Right.
Successful movie, saying that.
Yeah.
But there's so much that could have been better. Like, we didn't need the first half of the movie with this little kid and this whole horrible incident. That didn't really add a lot. It took up a lot of time. There was no backflashes as to what their life was like beforehand, as to explain why he would have this like elaborate CB radio thing set up in the basement of their house.
Right.
And why he knows how to make hearing aids.
Right.
Right.
He has spent 472 days learning how to make hearing aids and learning the surveillance and
of the world.
And,
and
like really
via CB radio.
Yes. And he's also like really I don't know if he was a sound engineer, if he was some sort of electrician, if he was, a fucking sound guy on a movie set. I don't know what his life was before this.
And he makes his daughter this one hearing aid that also doesn't work. But it's for whatever reason, when she's in the presence of these alien things and they open up their ears to listen real carefully, it provides feedback. Like if you're playing your electric guitar in front of the amp too close and you get that and she hears that.
Right.
And feels that, and it causes her pain. And 3 times, the fucking monster's attacking her.
Right.
She has a splitting headache. Monster goes away. But she doesn't put the math together yet.
I will give it, like, that first time was...
Well, sure. That was all behind her back.
Right, exactly. And that was actually a pretty good scene.
Yeah.
With that, like, us, the audience, seeing all the danger behind her and her being completely unaware of what's right next to her, and that she just basically saved her own life with this hearing aid.
Right.
And then the second time it happens, I don't remember.
There's no avoiding.
Yeah,
it.
they're in
a closed space with the monster,
right?
Who is attacking them until her head starts to hurt,
right?
And then it leaves.
Yes,
that's when she should have put the math together, right there.
Right, because I'm going to assume that up until this point, this family has come into contact with it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously with the death of the little boy, but there have been many times, and they should know the protocols and all that, what's going on. So yeah, so it should have been like, why is this thing freaking out now all of a sudden? What has changed?
Right.
My hearing aid.
Right, exactly. A splitting headache that I have, I would take note of. So, I mean, yeah. It would have been nice to have a little more backstory on the family to make us care about these people. It also would have been nice to have a little story after the story ended
abruptly.
Once, like, the characters figured out, the hearing aid, it doesn't kill them, but it disables them so you could pull off a shotgun shot. But, when you shoot a shotgun, that just brings more of them, so you got to debilitate more. It would have been great had they, like, made their way to somebody who would have known how to militarize that. And make the world a better place or something, whatever. I
don't know. I think you're right that they're like setting it up for a part 2 or something. Yeah. Because it was very abrupt, and I don't know that we necessarily needed much more after that, but I did need something more after that at the very end.
Yeah, it's kind of a cheap out.
Yeah, and it would seem like a real quick and neat like wrap up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right, well, look at that. We figured it out. It's all done. We're all saved. Because, there's, like, signs to think that, to point to that, all they know is that there are 3 of these aliens around the house, and that they successfully kill one. Which also, so it's like they crank up the frequency, and it goes down, but that doesn't kill it.
Right.
And then she shoots it in the head.
Right.
So these things are not indestructible.
Right.
His notes were leading us
right,
to
exactly. Like, they have no weaknesses whatsoever except they're blind. and not bulletproof.
Right.
So again, you'd think kind of easy to hunt.
Right.
You would just sit in a tree with a fucking silencer on the end of your rifle and just make a noise far away.
Exactly.
It runs with the noise and you just mow them down.
So the military could not figure the military did not figure this out.
A squirrel hunter could have figured this out. So I mean, yeah, there's that.
There were some holes in
I could see this thing being pitched. You know, they're like, okay, John, we're going to make this movie because it's unique in terms of what the horror is and everybody being quiet. We think that'll really work.
Right.
We need people. This will really be a movie, though, about the family, I guess.
Yeah.
And family values.
I guess. Even that.
And they're like, okay, let's just beat people on the nose with it. You know, father sacrifices his life for his children. You know, the desire to keep building the family and growing the family. And, like... that kind of fell short too, even if that's what they were doing. Like right?
I see how we were supposed to, you know, they still said prayer at dinner,
right?
But they were still just like, I don't know, I just didn't feel any connection with the family at all.
I didn't care about those characters at all.
No.
So, sorry, I didn't care about any of the characters. The sign language was cool.
Yeah.
Very cool to see that, you know, playing a major part in a major motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
The use of the quiet was very intense, and that was great, but I just did not care about these characters and did not find the plot to be that motivating. So, there's that.
Yep.
If you want to see a movie where you feel okay about rooting for the monsters, I would recommend this movie.
Yeah, this movie, like, for a hot second, we were closing in on the end of it. I was like, wait a minute, did M. Night Shyamalan have anything to do with this? Because I was getting, like, some real heavy M. Night Shyamalan vibes. Right. But not, as far as I know, no, he didn't. And it's also kind of reminded me of, like, The Mist and The Happening. I don't know. I'm just not...
Yeah.
I bet, you know, it's totally worth a once around, I guess.
And I will say that John Krasinski's performance translates well to the big screen.
Yeah.
You know, some people are just television actors. He is not that.
I think this is the first...
some moxie.
Yeah, I think this is the first film I've seen him in.
Me too.
I know he's been in them in other films, but I think this is the first film I've actually seen him in.
And Emily
Blunt, she was great.
Awesome. Her acting was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it really was just, she was amazing.
Yeah.
Everything. She had the hardest performance, and she pulled it off really well.
And supposedly she did that bathroom scene in one take.
Wow. Amazing. I mean, yeah, her whole range, but she was very believable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and again, just a little bit of backstory on these two would have gone a long, long way.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Those are a critique. Definitely recommend that you see it. Do what we did. My wife was nice enough to take me to a matinee. I've been sick at home for like 2 weeks, and I'm going stir crazy. So I was a little nervous to go see it because I didn't want to cough and people be like, shh. So like a matinee on a work day was perfect, and I didn't cough that much.
Right.
I'm sure I coughed.
It wasn't that bad. I was more concerned about my popcorn chomping. So
it's impressively loud.
So out of 5, 1 out of 5, how would you rate it?
You know, I'm a big John Krasinski fan, so I don't want to be harsh on the dude, but sorry, dude, I gotta keep it real. I'll give you like a 2.5.
Oh, wow. Let me give it a 3. Mostly Emily's performance pushed it over for me. Yep. Just like the whole her stepping on that nail on the
that was the most intense part of the entire movie. It had nothing to do with any graphics.
No,
it really was just her stepping on the nail. That was for me the worst part of the whole movie. I mean, the best part of the whole movie.
Exactly.
In terms of just like tragedy.
That's what gave me the most feeling.
Yeah, that's when I had to hold on to you. It was like, oh my god,
I know that feeling. Oh, that's terrible.
Right.
Are you down to watch it again? I'm gonna go no.
Nah,
I've seen it. I'm
sorry.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and the Bechdel test, does it pass?
Not really. I mean, we talked about this briefly. So, okay, there were 2 women, but did they talk about something other than man? No, not really. It was either about her dad or about her little brother. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was the one time about how she wanted to go with her dad and her brother, and she said no. So it's still really kind of about a man.
Yeah, they didn't really have too much just one-on-one discussions.
In the end, a man-made technology, you know, that the husband made without any explanation or backstory as to how this dude made hearing aids in his basement. his technology saves the day, although they try to give you the impression that these two women are that will save the day at the end.
Right.
So, but that still doesn't pass the Bechdel test. They didn't talk about it.
No. So I don't think it does.
Yeah, no.
I think that's a fail on that one. All right, so...
Although, there were two named men, and they talked about how the sound worked and the alien.
Right,
the men talked about stuff other than...
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
totally.
the men talk about the important things.
They had like a really good conversation about
fishing,
the rivers,
about how the sound works, what's safe sound, not
and
sound. Right.
how to protect... yeah.
Right.
All right. We see you. All right, so yeah, that's it. It's in theaters now. Quiet Place.
For all the writers that they had on this, they didn't have a single woman writer.
No.
So that should tell you something.
Is that...
I think if they had a female writer, part of the 5 motherfucking circle jerk of the script, they would have gotten some of those insights of like how to care about people. Right. I mean, they just they use these stereotypes of human emotion without really selling them.
Yeah. And in the original screenplay that was written, there was only like 1 or 2 lines of actual dialogue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
All right.
So, Brian Wood, Scott Beck, you guys are probably about 10 years younger than me, and probably about, 8 years younger than John. Learn to broaden your freaking horizons. Oh, yeah. Use this as an opportunity to get some diversity in your writing room.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, looks like... Oh, yeah. This is their...
It'll be interesting to see what Rotten Tomatoes gives it.
I think like it has been certified fresh all this time.
What's that mean?
It's like close to 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like a lot of people have been really just all about it, and I don't know. I've seen a lot of think pieces. Like everybody's just been like really tickling this movie's nutsack.
Well, great. Good. Again, because I love John and I want nothing but the best for him. And Emily's performance was freaking amazing. Mm-hmm. If it gets any awards, I hope it's on like original screenplay or best supporting actress. But that's about where I end.
All right, cool. Well, all right, like, subscribe, follow us, all that stuff. We're DTW Podcast on Twitter, Down to Watch Podcast on Facebook. All episodes of the show are on iTunes and Libsyn, but it's sneaky. It's under Rugged Angel Productions. Rugged Angel is one word. So check us out there. All right, thank you for watching, and until next time.
Peace.